welcome to my channel again. Today I'm going to teach you how to make this heart Valentine card. What you're going to learn today is I'm going to teach you how to actually design this card. I'm going to teach you how to design the panel itself on CanvasWorkspace, how to send it to the machine, cut it, and assemble the card. But I'm also going to show you how to write text, and I'm going to show you some tips on that, and also how to cut and add some layers to it. And I'm going to, at the end, to give you some tips on how to use the negative space, how to use this as a stencil or a positioning tool to just use the hearts that you have left over at the end, because I don't want you to throw anything away. And also some tips on how to layer some of the words that we're going to cut, okay? So I hope you have fun, and let's get to it. Here I am on CanvasWorkspace. That's where I usually create my cards and my card mats and card front, whatever you need, because it's much faster and you have more flexibility here in terms of, for example, if you want to write a text, you have way more fonts here than on the machine. You can do it there, but it takes forever. So let's start by creating the mat. And what I'm going to tell the machine is the size that I want, which is always 4. And I forgot to unclick here, but it's good because then I show you. If you leave this clicked, the maintain aspect ratio, every time you move, every time you change here for, let's say 4.25, it will automatically maintain the ratio, so it changes here too. So what I do is I always unclick it so I can tell exactly what I want. Here it's 4, and here it's 5.25, 5.25, because I want this to, should have done the other way, but that's okay. We can hold the shift key and let go because it goes in 90 degrees. So that's the size of the mat that I'm going to use on my card, and now we're going to create the hearts. We are going to, here on shapes where I got this rectangle, we're just gonna keep scrolling down and we're going to find a heart. But I don't know about you guys, but I don't like the shape of this heart. I don't like it as pointy like this and as thin as it is. So I play around with it until I find a shape that is okay for me, for what I want. Okay, a little bit more here. This looks better, but I'm going to show you, because this you can use with any shape, how you can actually alter a shape. So we're going to zoom in, and when you click once on any shape, then it gives you the chance to move it around and change the size and everything, and just place it wherever you want. But if you click once more, it's going to show you all these lines here, and that's how you can alter the shape. So I don't want it as pointy as this one. That's not the format that I like for my heart. So what you do is you click on these little round things here, and that is going to allow you, and it shows in a different color, if you want to change this shape here, and you would actually do it by moving these things here. So I don't want to change anything here except for this. So here's what I'm going to do. I want to make it a little bit, there you go. No, that's too much. I'm going to do the same here on this side. Not as pointy. You play around and you just see what it looks like. There you go. I think it's better now. Let me just click outside, see, but I can see that there is a problem here, so I'm just gonna keep on moving this around until I find the shape that is the shape that I want. It's kind of tricky. It's something that you have to really get used to. I'm not very good at this, but I try because I'm not happy with the shape that I want, so why keep it, right? So I think it looks kind of fine now. Not really. I need a little bit more here. There you go. I think now it looks good now. Okay, but now let's define the size. I know that this, I'm going to have, it's going to be inside of this, right? So I know that this is 4 inches. And I want to have 3 hearts. So maybe 1 inch each would be fine. Let's try. 1 inch here and 1 inch here. So let's see if that looks okay. And what we're going to do now is to copy and paste, and you do that by Command C, Command V, or Control C, Control V if it's a PC. So I did that, and I'm going to have 3 of them. We're just gonna move them around because we're going to center it perfectly. I think that's a good size, yeah. So let's make sure that this is centered. What we're going to do is, let's just get this out of here. We're going to select all of them, and you do that by just dragging on your mouse. You just click, hold, and drag. And we're going here to alignment. See, align here. So what I want is for them to be centered in the middle, like this. So if you click, see, it's perfectly centered. But that's not enough. I want to make sure, let me just move this here to see where it actually looks perfect. But I want to teach you something else. Let's say, no, it doesn't look perfect because the difference here, the space here is not even, see? The space here is much shorter than this one. So I'm going, good, because I'm going to use this to show you something else. Let me just get this too. I selected, I have to show you something else. But anyway, so I know that this is the distance that I want, this heart and this heart. They're kind of a good distance. So what we're going to do is select all the hearts, make sure that it's centered. And then you see here, distribute objects. That's where we're going to click. We want to horizontally distribute in the center. So what it does is look at the hearts, see, and the distribution now, the space between the hearts now is perfectly distributed. So that's perfect. And what I'm going to do now is, because we're going to duplicate this, I'm just going to group it to tell, when you group, it becomes just one object, and you can do that by Command G, or if you go here on layer, you click on group. So see, now it's just one thing, because I want to move this around, and what I'm going to do now is to duplicate that, because I want more. I want 3 or 4. We're going to see how many. So again, I'm going to duplicate, and you know that's Command C, Command V, or Control C, Control V. And I'm just going to place them around a little bit just to see what it looks like, if 3 is okay, or if I need more. It depends. You know what? I think it's too pointed, this heart. I think, yeah, this shape I think I like more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that shape now. I'm going to delete all the others. And again, I'm going to duplicate the one that I like. I think 4 will be fine, but we're going to see. 1, 2, and I'll just randomly position them. 4. Yeah, 4 looks perfect. Now what we're going to do is, again, to center and distribute, just to make sure that everything is okay. So, okay, this is something that I want to teach. See, I'm trying to just play around with the hearts, but it always selects the big shape here, the card mat. I don't want that. So what I'm going to do is to show you how you can isolate something and make sure that I can do anything I want with the hearts, and these will still stay the same. What to do is you lock it. That's the name for that. You go here on layers, and you see that all these shapes are here. These are all the group of hearts, and I'm just going to click here so it doesn't look as confusing. If you click here, they kind of disappear. And you can see that the shape of the mat is here. Here's how you lock it. You just click here and you're going to see a lock. So now if I want to select the heart, you see the shape here doesn't really change. It's not selected anymore, and that's what I wanted. So what you're going to do, you select all the hearts, because we're going here on edit and we're going to make sure that it's positioned correctly. So here, center, alignment, we're going to make sure that they're all centered. You click here, see how it's centered now? And also we're going to distribute, and now it's vertical. I want to make, see, now it's perfect. It's distributed and it's centered. We know that they are perfect now. The last thing it looks really nice to me. I don't think we need to do anything else, but just to make sure, what I want to do is, see, I can't click on the mat, so I have to go there and unlock it, so I can now select everything, right? I'm going to start from here and go up. Everything selected because it shows these blue lines here. What I want to do is to make sure that, again, it's centered. See, it moved a little tiny bit, and I think that's good. Let's do the objects, the vertical again. Oops, sorry, my mistake. There, so it's ready. The last thing you want to do, because you're going to send this to your machine and you want to make sure you can move it around depending on where your paper is, what you're going to do is you're going to select everything again and you're going to group it, because you want the machine to see it as one object only, isolated. So group it and see the blue lines here disappear, and now you are able to move it around. Okay, now let's go to the second part of this card, which is the letter. Remember that I had something written there. I'm going to use also I have a stamp set that I use, and I'm going to cut that, but I want to teach you how to do the text. So you go here on the left of your Canvas workspace, you click on text and click anywhere on the canvas. So let's write love, or you can write the name of your loved one or hello, whatever you want. And now comes the choosing. You have to choose the letter, the font that you want. It depends on what you're going for. I'm just going to go for something like this, but I want to teach you something else, because if I send this the way it is right now to the machine, to the ScanNCut, it's going to cut every single letter individually, and that's fine. For a short word like this, you can just glue it afterwards, whichever way you want. But if you want this to be just one word, you would need to come here and to weld it as an over, but they have to overlap, and they're not overlapping now. See, there's this space here, and that's what tells the ScanNCut that I need to cut every single letter individually. So here's one way of doing this. First of all, let me see which size I would like for this to be, and I'll just position here too big. So let me just make this a little bit smaller. I think maybe now love, yeah, that would be fine. I'm not sure I want this font though. Let me just try something else. There was a very rounded one that I yeah, this one I think. Not sure, maybe italic. It doesn't give me the option. Let's just leave whatever. It's just to teach you, right? So if you want to weld it, they have to overlap. So this E, for example, would have to go to the left. These two, they have to overlap, and that's the only way you can weld something. So here's how you do this. Do you see, this is the text font. This one has the option, it's bold, it doesn't give you any other options. And this number here is the character spacing. So you can space, look at the love word, you can space it more if you want, and that's fine if that's what you want, but we want the opposite because we want it to overlap. So here's what you do, just keep going negatively. See, until they overlap. See, they're overlapping now, that's fine. If you zoom in, and let me show you because you really have to understand this. See how all the letters now are overlapping? now you can weld, and it's going to be, I'm actually going to try to, that's not gonna work. It really has to overlap. And what I'm going to do now is to make it a little bit larger. Yeah, it looks fine. You can weld it. Let's do, and you're gonna see how much of a difference it makes. It just turns it into, and this is something you need to know too. The moment you weld, you can undo it if you do Control Z, but it turns it into an image. So if you want to, if you misspelled it, or if you want to add something to it, you won't be able to, because it's recognized as an image. It's not a word anymore. It's not text anymore. So just know that before you weld, okay? So here we go, process overlap. We're going to click on weld, and see, it's just one word, and I think it looks really, really nice. Let's see, just to look at the size here, to see if it would look good here. Yeah, I think the size is pretty good, but you can still make it a little bit smaller, because I think that would be perfect. And that's it. What I'm going to do next is to send this to the machine, but before I do that, I want to add some dimension to my card, and I want this to pop up a little bit, to have some dimension. So what I'm going to do is to actually duplicate it, and I'm going to cut two, and I'm going to glue them together so they have some dimension, okay? And you're going to understand why I want to do that, because I'm going to add some paper underneath, and I just want it to pop up a little bit. So that's ready. I'm going to send this to the machine. You click on File, Export or Transfer the file, and it's going to ask where I want to transfer to the machine, and there it is. It says that my ScanNCut is ready to receive the file, and I'm going to see you there. Now my ScanNCut is already, the mat has been loaded. What we're going to do now is to retrieve data, and I sent it through Wi-Fi, so it will be there, and we should be able to see the heart panel soon. There it is. We have the hearts here, and I think, yeah, the paper, it's fine, because that's where the paper is. I'm not going to do this. So what we're going to do is say, okay, please select and cut. And I'm going to cut this in black too, but I just want one more again to add dimension to it. I'm not sure if you're seeing this. Maybe it's a little bit too bright. It looks like it's too bright. Let me see. I think you see well, maybe. Yeah, let's do that. So we're going to start, and I'll be back soon. And now here we are. This is the fun part of the video. So I'm going to show you what I did. This is the panel. What I did was I glued two panels just so it's thicker and it gives a little dimension to the card. And I glued on the back little pieces of paper. I'm going to show you. Doesn't look very nice, the back of it, but who cares? They're not gonna see it. So you just choose the colors you want. You can make it as colorful as you want, and just to add some color to it, but it depends on whatever you want to do. I'm going to use this card base here, so maybe you wanted this to show, you just leave it open. Let me show you what it would look like. See? So it depends on what you want. Both of them are good. And I had this word cut. I think I showed you something else, but I decided that I was going for you because I have this stamp set that I love that has a lot of nice sentiments with you. So let's just glue this first. All my glues are so thick right now. I don't know. I think they're all old, but that's okay. There's still work. So I'm going to give you also some tips on the sentiments, things that you can do. Here we are. So let's just place this perfectly. Make sure that it's centered. Yep, it's good enough. Give it some weight so it doesn't move around, and you make sure that it's glued. Now we're going to glue the word. And what I usually do is I begin, let me get here I often use these. I begin gluing the middle because then it's easier to place the rest. I'm gonna get my small one because this is very detailed. So let's get some glue going here. Should be enough. So I'm just going to make sure that I get, always start with the middle because it's easier to space it out and to position correctly if you start in the middle. There you go. And one tip that I'm going to give you now is, I know that maybe in the video it won't make much of a difference, but I always do this on the sides. I add some more black. It does make it stand out, believe me. I know it may sound strange because it's all black, but sometimes you get a little bit of glue on the sides and it just makes it pop a little more. So that's one tip for you. And I actually use that too. I do the same when I'm on my stamped images on the side. It just gives it a nice finish, and I think this kind of homemade, you know, detailed things, it's all about the finished look, and it's all in the details. So I think here would be good. Yeah. Let me just press this a little bit. Last one. I have another tip for you that I will show you soon. See, that's why I use my tweezers. They make it easier to not move around. Make sure that I don't move it. So there's the front of the card. I'm happy with that. I'm going to stamp the inside with that stamp set that I told you. So you can write, of course, you are my Valentines if it's a Valentine card, but this one I'm just gonna leave it for, oh my god, again I made the same mistake. Maybe it's the stamp. I always have a problem with this R and V here, but that's not a problem. We can just fix it. Deserve, this one is not well either. Celebrated. Here, just fix whatever doesn't look right to you. Looks good now. Okay, so that's the inside of the card. What I want to show you now is that it's one effect that you can use every time you use this, you do this kind of word, and you get you know, just love or whatever sentiment you cut. I got you and I got love too. Here's a tip for you to make it stand out. I didn't do it on the U because it's individual letters, but what I often do is, if I have something in black like this, I always get one cut in white and I add to it with, just move it a little bit. See, it just gives it a little shade that makes it pop. It's a really nice effect, and you can go as wide as you want, but see how beautiful it looks. So this is just a tip for you. And the last tip that I'm going to give you is that, so I cut it from black cardstock, but here's what we have left. Don't throw this away because you can do the same. You can use this. Oh, not with, but it has to be, of course, a solid color. Let me just get a piece of paper here. I have this beautiful, a lot of shade there, but that's okay. But see, you can use this too. Don't throw anything away. And of course you need the middle part that I have no idea where it is, but it's around here. But don't throw it away either, the negative space. You can use it in another card. And the last tip that I'm going to give you again is don't throw away the little hearts, because what you can do is use this as a positioning thing. You can glue as many as you want. I would glue at least 3 just to make it very thick. And you can use this as a positioning tool and glue the hearts and just remove it and make sure it's centered right. And you can actually do the opposite. Instead of having the negative space, you would actually have the hearts on the front of your card. So that's another tip of how to use this too. Well, I think this is it. This is our final card. I love it, and I think I'm going to add some glitter to it. But anyway, thank you for watching, and I hope you have learned a lot today and you use your creativity. See, you can, oh, I just love using the white. It looks so good. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.